Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. So in an earlier video I mentioned the particular deck I'm going to talk about on this video. But first of all, a bit of a backstory to this, because it's quite an interesting piece of Magic history. So if you go back in time to the early days of Magic, in fact not right back to the very beginning, but back to a point in time when Wizards were basically getting things together in terms of block design. So what is considered to be the very first properly designed block would have been the Mirage block, and that consisted of 3 sets which were released from 1996 through to 1997. However, at that point in time, Wizards had not introduced what was then to be called, I suppose, the theme deck. Theme decks then became intro decks, and intro decks became planeswalker decks. So back then there was no theme decks, but there were still starter decks or tournament packs, whatever you want to call them, but they weren't really pre-constructed, in that you didn't really know until you opened them exactly what cards you were going to get in the case of starter decks and tournament decks. But with the theme decks, obviously you knew before you opened it what the pre-constructed deck was made of. Now those theme decks didn't appear until the Tempest block. So Tempest ran from 1997 through to 1998. Once again, it was made up of 3 sets, so there were theme decks for each particular set, and as was normally the case, you had 4 theme decks per set. If we fast forward to July 2002, MTGO was released, so Magic the Gathering Online, and at that point in time what they did was, when that was released, they included in that initial online software 7th edition Invasion, Planeshift, Apocalypse, Odyssey and Torment, with the plan to be that as new sets were released in paper, alongside those sets they would release a digital product online as part of MTGO. Now the plan with the older sets was to release them in due course, and that would be through various means. Fairly straightforward, I believe, with many of the block-based sets, where they would sort of just come out in their original format. And then in December 2005 they got around to releasing Mirage. Now, as I mentioned, Mirage was the first of the block design sets, and there was Mirage, Vision and Weatherlight in that order, 96 to 97. So when they released the Mirage set online, what they thought it would be a good idea would be to create actually a set of theme decks to go with those sets. So they did 4 theme decks per set. Remember, again, these theme decks never existed in paper. They never created theme decks around the time of Mirage, as I've said, and so this was a new thing. So through various means they constructed these decks. I believe some of them were constructed by Wizards themselves, other ones were constructed by the community. One of the decks, I believe, was just constructed by someone who was connected with Magic, and so these were released online. They released the Mirage ones, and when they moved to Visions, same with that, and the same with Weatherlight for that whole sort of block. The Mirage theme decks were Burning Sky, Jungle Jam, Night Terrors and Ride Like the Wind. So what I thought it'd be interested to do, armed with this knowledge of a deck that was never released in paper product, was to actually create one of the decks in paper using the original Mirage cards. This wasn't that expensive actually to put together. Several of the decks, because they have sought after cards in them, are slightly more expensive to construct. sort of retrospectively in paper. So yeah, so I'm just going to go through this deck, show you what sort of artwork was around at that time, and what a Mirage theme deck would have looked like had it existed in paper. I'm missing a few of the less important cards in here, so I've substituted them with the same artwork on, and the cards I'm talking about are actually the land. I've got most of the mana base, but for where I'm missing enough sufficient land of Mirage land, then I've substituted it with the same artwork from a core set. This was a red-white flanking deck called Ride Like the Wind. So we'll take a look at this now. So I'm just trying to bring this up on my iPad over on one side here. The two rares in the deck are both legendaries. There's a white one in the form of Sidar Jabari, and the red one is Telim Tor. So here's Sidar Jabari, summon legend it says here, 3 and a white. You can see there's the symbol from Mirage. Has flanking, so whenever a creature without flanking is assigned to block this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. If Sidar Jabari attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. There's also, I'm going to have a problem with the pronunciation on this, I can tell, partially because it's actually quite difficult to see the writing on camera. And under the light here, because we don't have quite as clear writing in the borders as we're used to nowadays. So that's Zulfirin Commander, which is a knight, has flanking and cares about other knights. So it's got an activated ability, 1/2 white, target knight gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and that's 2 and a white to cast. And there are a couple of those. Another knight in here is Femaref Knight, 2 and a white, another card with flanking. White attacking does not cause Femaref Knight to tap this turn. So it's got selective activated vigilance on there. Another Femaref Knight. Oh, and a third one. Zulfirin Knight in here with 2 and a white flanking and 2 white, first strike until end of turn. A couple of those, in fact more than a couple of those, we've got 3 of those. Tender Herder, single white with flanking, it's a 1/1. I think those other ones, actually I didn't show you there, they were all bears, so they're all 2/2, although the cost is slightly higher than 2. You'll notice this as well, at the time, one of the big things about Magic was that generally non-creature spells were more powerful than creature spells. So by today's standard, you may find that a lot of these creature cards are incredibly underpowered. You get a lot of 2/2s for 3 and 3/3s for 4 and things like that. So there's our Tender Herders. We've got Vigilant Martyr. This is a single white, summon Martyr, sacrifice Vigilant Martyr, regenerate target creature, 2 white tap, sacrifice Vigilant Martyr, counter target spell that targets an enchantment in play. Very specific here. Play this ability as an interrupt. A Malice Spirit, 3 and 2 whites, flyer for 3/3 with flying and protection from black. Vigilant Martyr there was a 1/1. Iron Tusk Elephant, so a good example here. We have a 4 and a 1 to cast, but it's only a 3/3. It does have trample, so 3/3 for 5 with trample. Favourable Destiny, 1 and a white enchant creature. As long as an enchanted creature's controller controls at least one other creature, enchanted creature cannot be the target of spells or effects. As long as enchanted creature is white, it gets +1/+2. 2 of those. There's an alarm in here, I think just a single one. 1 and a white instant, untap target non-attacking creature. That creature gets +1/+3 until end of turn. Shadow Bane, also in here. 2 and a white instant, prevent all damage to you or a source you control from any one source. If that source is black, gain 1 life for each 1 damage prevented in this way. Now we move on to the red cards. So here's the other rare, another legend. Telementor, 4 and a red. It's a 2/2 for 5 there. Summon legend, Flanking. If Telementor attacks, all attacking creatures with flanking get +1/+1 until end of turn. So we have a flanking lord here. We've actually got 3 of those in the deck. So of course, remember, and whatever legend rule was in operation at the time would have applied if you tried to have 2 of those in the battlefield at any one time. Burning Shield Ascari, 2 and a red, 2/2 with flanking and ability, which is 2 red, first strike until end of turn. 3 of those. Searing Spear Ascari, 2 and a red, knight with flanking, and 1 and a red. Searing Spear Ascari cannot be blocked by only 1 creature this turn. So you can see a few more knights here. 3 of those. Crimson Rock, 4 and a red with flying, 2/2. If Crimson Rock blocks any creature without flying, Crimson Rock gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. We've got a Blistering Barrier, which is a wall for 2 and a red. It's a 5/2. And there's a couple of those. Agility's in here. 1 and a red. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and gains flanking. Aleatory, I think that is. Is that an E or a C? Yep. Aleatory. Play only after defense is chosen. Flip a coin. Target opponent calls heads or tails while coin is in the air. If the flip ends up in your favor, targeted creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's end steps. That's a cantrip strapped onto that. There's a couple of those. Spitting Earth in here. This is an interesting card. So 1 and a red, sorcery. Spitting Earth deals to target creature an amount of damage equal to the number of mountains you control. Very at home in a mono red deck. A couple of those. And now we have the wonderful Mirage artwork here. So some John Avon artwork. You can see we've got some mountains here. There's all these in their original frames, of course. This is one of my favourites. Very classic piece of artwork. This is just fantastic. More mountains here, and you can see there's the 6th edition version. I just tried to find a core set where that I had to hand. These actually I already had in my special land box. And now we move on to the planes. Again, wonderful artwork here. I think I managed to get at least one of all of the different types that they use for each of the colours that are relevant to this deck. Again, at some point next time I'm doing a card order, I'll just see if my card supplier actually has some of these for this particular set. So here's the alternate ones from 6th edition there. Same artwork, just obviously with the white borders. And there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed that quick look through an older deck. You can see some very underpowered creatures there with some very interesting interactions and pretty dirtly abilities on some of those. So there we have it. That was the Ride Like the Wind paper version of the online only deck from the Mirage set. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.